So on my members only, I put out a video. It's just a brief remote view session I did on Keir Starmer. Just the outer layers of him. Not a lot of detail, but pretty interesting. So if you are a member, you get to see that first. But what I'm going to share now is some other things that were being shown to me. Somewhat disturbing in my opinion, and I just, was going to show my face, but that's okay. I'm going to just do it this way. I see a swamp, a literal green swamp. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Shrek. Well, it's similar to that. It looks like that swamp. It's just really weird. And in the swamp, there are these energies that live in the swamp. And when they manifest, they come to the surface and they bubble. And they take over certain world leaders' minds. And one of those world leaders would be Keir Starmer. There is dark energy on him, and it goes back centuries. And there's also people in human flesh that need his position. And what I'm starting to see is that he himself can also enslave and incorporate, and he's controlling the scenes too. So there are people underneath Keir Starmer that he is actually dominating. It's not fair for me to say that Keir Starmer is the worst leader in the world, or that he's going to bring down all of Europe. No, I don't think so, to be fair. He's not going to bring down all of Europe or UK. He'll be out before that happens. But he is put in that position, whether it's dark or light. And in my opinion, right now, what I'm getting is completely dark. But the light will reveal through the crack of the foundation that he's tearing down. He is tearing down the foundation of the UK. And there's something I'm getting with Ireland, Northern Ireland, that wants to go independent, unless this is Ireland as a whole, but I know Northern Ireland is part of the UK. Now, I'm not sure what this is, but there's going to be an uprising, and I will be putting out multiple world predictions that I feel comfortable sharing, and I will most likely put those out in my video in a few days. And I think in that particular segment, I speak on Ireland, its uprising. But anyways, not to get sidetracked, but in the swamp, there's all this darkness. And when it wants to attach, it bubbles up and it attaches onto these leaders. I saw Keir Starmer, and I saw another man that's connected to Germany. There was also a man connected to Brussels. Not Ursula herself, even though I think she stirs the pot, But these dark entities, they attach on to political figures all around the world, but mostly entwined with Europe, or we could say the West, and that includes the United States. A lot of this is run by the deep, deep, deep state. Or you could say shadow government. You could say whatever you want. The black hats, the white hats. No, it's run by the deep, deep, deep state. Around this swamp area that I see, there are portals. And you may say, well, Dark Rose, you've lost your mind. I don't care. I'm sharing what I'm being shown. Dark portals. There's 3 of these portals. So the swamp is located in a different hemisphere, different realm, darkness. But the portals, one operates from Britain, So from Britain, you could get into this portal near that well I was telling you guys about, that dark well. And it puts you into this realm. The other country is Germany. I don't know exactly where in Germany. They showed me a large lake with this portal activation. Something basin. I'm hearing basin. So it could be near a water basin in Germany. And the third place is near or around the Hague, or you guys may pronounce the Hague. So there are multiple. Well, there's at least 3, and there's more that are forming. This video, I probably won't post it because it's just going to be all over the place. But the darkness is manifesting and it's growing. And the reason why is because there's nothing left. Power is being shaken. So the dark forces have to step it up a little bit. Because they know and they fear the light. Because when the light shines into the swamp, it pops all the bubbles and it cleans out the green water. It purifies the water and makes it clear again. Most likely what I try to explain to you is very symbolic. But the foundation in Europe is cracking, and it's cracking at a pretty quick speed according to this timeline. Europe and UK are on 2 separate timelines. They're 2 different origins. However, the UK is going to bounce back quicker than Europe, believe it or not. Yes, the UK's foundation is going to break. It's going to break to the slate, baby. It's going to break. But it's going to be rebuilt in fashion order for the people. Europe is going to take a lot of time. And also, NATO is cracking. Did you know that France and Germany are sending troops over to Greenland? It's not to battle. It's not to fight. There's no war. It is to gain intelligence and things like that in regards to what's going on with Trump. This is the start. This is the crack of what's to come with NATO and Macron. First in line, he knows surely what's about to happen. Because this guy, even though he's not the best leader, he's very in tune, extremely. I give him credit for that. He's very slick, but he's also very in tune with other people and what's going on. But he's not near as in tune as Vladimir Putin. That guy is psychic. Sorry, but he is. Very psychic. He knows things way before they happen. He probably saw the war with Ukraine happen in his visions 6 years before it happened, or something like that, you know? Anyways. That's the crack of NATO. It just started. It has started. And that's another one of the predictions I made a while back. Maybe about a year ago. It has begun. So you have all this dark energy, this swamp. You have attachments on these world leaders. And these attachments can be very dangerous because it can cause certain leaders to make wrong choices that they cannot go back on. And I'm also speaking for the United States. Oh yeah. You guys think that Trump is not untouchable by the darkness, but he is. Very much so. And whatever choices he makes regarding the country Iran, I hope he makes the right one. Because if he doesn't make the right decisions on certain things in 2026 in the next 3 months, it's not just Iran, it's other things with China, etc., it's going to backfire. And America's going to feel the wrath. And that's part of the shaking. Maybe that's what that is. I know that what I'm talking about is in riddles. I have ADHD. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. But this is the things I'm seeing, what I'm getting. This is me, hardcore it myself. That's why I like to make videos and be organized because I'm all over the place. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. You know, another thing I keep getting for the United States is there's going to be a storm that's going to hit the Gulf. It's going to hit Florida. I do believe it's Florida. It's going to hit the Gulf side, and it could be anywhere from the Big Bend down to Sarasota, because that whole area has harbors, which means water can go inland. But I believe that this is going to be Tampa Bay, possibly, or Charlotte Harbor, or Sarasota. And there's going to be this storm. It's not going to be a massive hurricane, though. It's just going to bring a lot of rain. It could be a Cat 2, or it could be a tropical. No, I'm not sure, but it's going to bring a lot of rain, and it's going to go inward into this island, or this cup-shaped island. And it's actually, as I said, Tampa, Charlotte Harbor, or somewhere near Sarasota. And the water's going to go inland, and it's going to flood pretty far out inland into residents that are not prone to have flooding. And at the same time, there's going to be another type of flooding or dry heat regarding Texas. So these two things are going to happen around the same time in 2026. There's like a heat drought or something regarding Texas. They get this rain, or I don't think it's the same storm. I don't know if it's the same storm, but it's dry there. So it rains, and there's nowhere for the rain to go, for the water to absorb. It goes right through and just floods. So I'm seeing flooding or some type of heat grid issues for Texas and flooding in Florida. And that is the prediction I had spoke on. I said I saw the governor of Florida and the governor of Texas working together, right? In some way. And I kept getting FEMA, something connected to FEMA. And at first I thought it had something to do with immigration, but now I don't think so. I think it's two natural disasters that kind of happen around the same time frame. And DeSantis and Mr. Abbott are not happy with how things are going with possibly this is aid of some kind. And they end up sticking together and going over Washington, D.C.'s head in some way. Now, I don't know who wins. I don't know the outcome of this, but the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida will have to work together because they're not getting aid fast enough, and they have to fight Washington, D.C. to some degree. And that's kind of what I'm getting. It's interesting, but that's, I put a video out and I kept saying that, but I did not know if it was a natural disaster or if it in fact was immigration. And I think this is natural disaster. I don't know when this is going to happen in 2026. Most likely during hurricane season or when it floods the most, rains, and that would be most likely late summer, early fall for us here. So I don't know. It's going to be a lot of things, a lot of protesting, all kinds of things. But the swamp that carries this darkness and these portals I see around it is a spiritual, symbolic. And eventually, as the foundations are completely wiped off and rebuilt, the swamp will diminish. The portals will be gone. They'll be closed or torn down with the shift. But these reptilian type energies of this darkness, whatever you want to call it, they have to be able to transport pretty quickly now because the timeline's speeding up. So instead of doing their work in the swamp alone, I call it swamp because that's what I'm seeing. But there could be another name for it spiritually. They're working in the swamp and or around the swamp area, and they have to get to Britain. They have to get to London. They have to get into these areas. They have to go into the Hague, the Netherlands, I guess, Germany. I have the name of the town at the tip of my tongue here, but it's near a basin. It's near water in Germany. But yeah, it's crazy. Now, I could put this on members only, but you know what? It's going public. And Keir Starmer, there's a lot of things I left out in the remote view session that I felt was inappropriate, not necessarily something he's done. But I see this man when he's alone. He hears this hum noise. Okay, this is like driving him crazy. It's like a fly or some type of insect in his ear. And it drives him crazy. It drives him mad. And only his wife or his significant other would, maybe he's mentioned it. He feels like he's losing his mind, but it's the dark energy attached to him. And I do feel that he will set himself free of that. When he leaves the parliament, when he leaves his position as prime minister, he will be set free. All of that darkness is going to shaken off of him. And I'm glad. Actually, I'm glad. But in the meantime, while he's attached to all this, and all this is going on around him, plus other people that he's around, it's just manifesting and festering because they're all running out of time. However, I've said before, there are people protecting Keir Starmer, including someone here in the United States that has taken a liking to Keir Starmer and needs him there as well. So he's actually being drained to some degree. But when he steps down, there'll be a relief. You're going to see a lot of people stepping down, whether they're in high positions politically or they're not. And there are a lot of people in the news. And there's no going back in 2026. It's all about going forward.